Hey, a couple more salmon got through the blue-haired grizzly barrier. Hello, Canada, and the world at large. This is Lane from Canada. There's a notable curse surrounding adaptations of video games into movies, and while I've largely enjoyed the ones I've seen, I freely admit that most of them fall into the category of even bad movies used to be good, or just flat-out bad. For every time that we get a bra-stuffed, adventure-loving Angelina Jolie playing Lara Croft, we get the sullen human equivalent of a hotel room ironing board known as Alicia Vikander playing Lara Croft. She's an A-cup on a good day! Yes, don't think I haven't noticed that Lara Croft has dropped multiple cup sizes in every subsequent film adaptation and has yet to fight a dinosaur. The real Lara Croft has huge boobs and fights dinosaurs. Let's make it happen, fans. Haley Atwell cannot be that busy. But the good news is, in the midst of all the bad or good kind of bad, we actually got a couple of great Sonic the Hedgehog movies, and the even better news is that the blue-haired people were not happy about it. Welcome to Post Before Movies Sucked, and this is the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. Sonic is a young alien hedgehog on a faraway planet that looks suspiciously like the Green Hill Zone from the first game, who has the superpower of being able to run at supersonic speeds. However, when his home is invaded by echidna warriors, he is given a bag of magic teleportation rings by his guardian, Longclaw the Owl, and sent to the safety of Earth, although Longclaw perishes while defending him. Sonic grows up in the small Montana town of Green Hills, secretly observing the humans and growing particularly fond of the town's married sheriff and veterinarian, Tom and Maddie Wachowski, whom he calls Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady.
Why do you keep calling me Donut Lord?
Because you talk to donuts, and then eat them if they get out of line.
Sonic finds himself very lonely when he is forced to play a game of baseball by himself, and runs faster around the bases than he ever has before, which causes him to emit a massive electrical discharge that blacks out half the continent. The government assigns Dr. Ivo Robotnik, a slightly deranged super genius, to investigate. Sonic refers to Robotnik as Eggman due to the advanced egg-shaped drones that he uses. While attempting to flee to another safe planet, Sonic startles Tom, who tranquilizes him, and causes Sonic's bag of rings to be teleported to the Transamerica building in San Francisco. Tom agrees to help Sonic escape from Robotnik after his drones attack them, and they set off on a road trip to retrieve the rings, in the process getting into one of the greatest bar fights in film history.
We don't like your kind around here.
Our kind? What kind is that?
Hipsters.
How dare you? Pop quiz, hotshot. You just picked a fight with a poorly disguised hedgehog who's seen way too many action movies. What do you do? What do you do? Huh. Am I crazy? Supposed to break, right? Ding. Ding, ding. Break, please. Break, please. Break this bottle, please. Please, 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 please.
Sonic?
Uh-oh. Why, you? Uh-oh. Really?
My feet go boom, 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 boom. My heart beats boom, 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 boom. High speed goes zoom, 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 zoom. My feet go boom, boom, boom. Walking away from you. That's what I'm gonna do. I got the same old shoes with a new attitude. Why would I sing it? I say, you can't stop me, 'cause my pain, is gasoline. I can't wait for nobody. If you is 1, 2, 3, boom, boom.
Sonic is later injured in a high-speed chase against Robotnik's drone vehicles, and Tom is forced to take him to the San Francisco home of Maddie's sister for treatment, as Maddie was there visiting. When he is recovered, Tom and Maddie smuggle Sonic to the Transamerica rooftop and recover his rings. However, they are ambushed by a Robotnik, who had used the power from one of Sonic's quills to upgrade his personal attack plane, giving it the ability to match Sonic in speed. Sonic teleports Tom and Maddie to the safety of Green Hills, while he leads Robotnik on a hysterical chase around the globe, using the rings to teleport across the continents and destroying several famous landmarks. They eventually end up right back in Green Hills, where an explosion seemingly kills Sonic.
I don't mean to be indelicate here, but someone should get some ice, keep the body fresh.
Sonic is revived when he hears Tom profess their friendship, and finally masters his full powers. He launches a vicious pinball attack against Robotnik's plane, causing catastrophic damage.
Now you've done it!
Guess what, Eggman? I'm not leaving Earth. You are. Donut Lord?
Robotnik banished and slowly going insane on a dreary mushroom planet, Sonic settles in with the Wachowskis and decides to use his powers to fight crime across the country. However, he finds himself recklessly causing more harm than he actually prevents, and Tom tries to tell him that he still needs to grow up and learn responsibility. Robotnik uses his super intellect to harness the power of Sonic's quill, and transmits an energy wave distress signal from the mushroom planet. A portal opens and Robotnik finds himself facing a powerful intergalactic warrior, Knuckles the Echidna, who demands to know where he found the quill. Robotnik agrees to take him to Earth to find Sonic. As Tom and Maddie leave for a Hawaiian vacation, entrusting Sonic to safeguard their home, a portal opens outside of Green Hills. A young fox, Miles Prower, arrives from a distant galaxy in search of Sonic. Miles is considered a freak on his homeworld due to his extra tail, which earns him the nickname of Tails. But he is a prodigious inventor and can use his mutation to fly like a helicopter. He had first learned of Sonic after detecting the energy burst from the ballpark, and quickly came to idolize him as one of Earth's greatest heroes. After learning that Knuckles was searching for the Hedgehog, Tails traveled to Earth to warn him. Robotnik and Knuckles teleport to the Wachowskis' home, where Sonic finds that he is no match for the powerful Echidna. But he is rescued by Tails in a stolen police car. Having overheard Knuckles mention a source of ultimate power called the Master Emerald, which the Echidnas are sworn to protect, Robotnik pretends to befriend him and recruits his loyal and possibly gay minion, Agent Stone, to assist them in tracking down Sonic and Tails. Sonic also learns of the Master Emerald from a coded map that Longclaw had left to him. Following the clues in the map, Sonic and Tails teleport to Siberia but get lost in a snowstorm and seek shelter in a nearby bar. When Tails tries to communicate with the locals using a faulty translator he invented, he inadvertently offends them and they are almost thrown into the fireplace. However, Tails blurts out an ancient challenge, which turns out to be a Siberian dance battle. They are forced to dance for their lives against that one guy Kyle Rittenhouse shot, but eventually win the battle and are hailed as heroes. Sonic and Tails later bond as they discuss their isolated lives, each of them glad to finally have a real friend. The next day, Sonic and Tails discover a hidden temple and a compass which will lead them to the Master Emerald, but they are ambushed by Robotnik and Knuckles. As they battle, Knuckles says that his father perished in the same battle as Longclaw, but he is left confused when Tails is injured, and Sonic immediately abandons the compass to save his friend. Sonic loses his rings as he attempts to evade an avalanche with Tails, and is forced to call Tom, who has one of the rings. Tom teleports them to safety in Hawaii, where Maddie cares for Tails. Feeling guilty for almost causing the death of a friend who looked up to him, Sonic decides to travel alone to a distant island where Robotnik and Knuckles have found the heavily booby-trapped temple that houses the Master Emerald. Facing his fear of water, Sonic furiously runs across the ocean's surface for hundreds of miles, following the island's convenient skybeam. Movies just love them some skybeams. Sonic and Knuckles battle for the Master Emerald, but Robotnik betrays Knuckles and absorbs the emerald, giving him godlike powers. He teleports back to Green Hills as the temple begins to collapse, and Sonic and Knuckles are forced to work together to save each other's lives. Tails arrives in a biplane he has weaponized, and they travel back to Montana to stop Robotnik. Robotnik is confronted by the Wachowskis in a newly formed government unit, the Guardian Unit of Nations, but he goes full Magneto and creates a massive mechanical Death Egg robot and goes on a rampage. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles arrive and use their combined talents to battle Robotnik's drone army and lead him away from the town, baiting him with his hatred of Sonic. Tails and Knuckles manage to infiltrate the Death Egg and knock the Master Emerald from Robotnik's control, but Sonic is badly injured and the Master Emerald shatters into 7 Chaos Emeralds. Tom and Maddie find him, but their vehicle is destroyed and they refuse to leave Sonic to die. Just as they are about to be crushed, Sonic absorbs the power of the emeralds, which transforms him into a golden supersonic and allows him to easily destroy the Death Egg.
I did some things, you did some things. There are good people on both sides.
Oh, it's like that? Okay, we're not friends.
Robotnik and Agent Stone mysteriously vanish, and Gun Commander Walters mentions a secret 50-year-old facility containing something known as Project Shadow, which is revealed to be a dark hedgehog similar to Sonic. Sonic realizes that Tom was right about him needing time to grow up, and gratefully acknowledges him as his new dad. He gives up his Chaos powers, which causes the Master Emerald to reforge itself. Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails agree to form a new tribe dedicated to the protection of the Emerald, and Sonic finally gets to enjoy a baseball game with his new family. There have been a few movies in the post-before movies sucked era that are objectively superior to the Sonic movies, but I chose them for review because they are both standout examples of giving the fans what they truly want. This shouldn't be a complicated issue, but one of the blue-haired people's favorite tactics in making things suck is baiting fans in with the promise of adapting a beloved franchise or intellectual property, and then giving them an agenda-driven pile of dog crap. This has been seen consistently in the past few years with properties such as Star Wars, Star Trek, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Halo, The Last of Us, Tomb Raider, The Wheel of Time, The Witcher, the entirety of Pixar Studios, and now they've even come for The Lord of the Rings.
Conflicted.
This bait-and-switch betrayal of fandom goes far beyond movies and into all aspects of popular culture. Video games, TV series, music videos, and even comic books are all being released smudged into oblivion with blue hair dye, and then the blue-haired people have the nerve to look surprised when their sales numbers fall into the toilet. And what's their response? Without fail, they attack the fans. The term toxic fandom has been bandied around so much that there are people who actually started to believe it's a real thing, and it's sickening. I have yet to observe a single real example of toxic fandom. What I do observe is non-stop betrayals of fandoms by the blue-haired people who hold the property rights. While there was never any indication that the Sonic the Hedgehog video games or their fans were going to be betrayed when the live-action film adaptation was announced, the film still got off to a rocky start, and first-time director Jeff Fowler had every opportunity to launch a classic fan attack. To build suspense for the project, the film's redesign of Sonic was kept a tightly guarded secret until the first trailer dropped on April 30th, 2019, and we finally got to see the beloved Hedgehog from our childhood in all of his CGI glory. Yeah, that's what they came up with. The decision to feature the song Gangster's Paradise in the trailer's soundtrack was absolutely mind-boggling, and for some reason they selected Jim Carrey's worst scene to highlight the film's humor. The overall response from fans varied slightly from the following example, but were by and large consistent.
Oh my god, ew! 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 Oh my god! Oh my god, it's so ugly! I don't want to look at it! How does one accomplish this level of creepy, disturbing... What is this face? What is it? What am I looking at? It has a bottom lip. Ew!
I got sucked into an internet vortex one night of just watching all of the Sonic trailer reaction videos on YouTube, and you have never seen the very life evaporating out of fans' eyes like I saw that night. Jeff Fowler had this one moment to do what almost any other franchise director would do. Call the fans a bunch of bigots, plow ahead with the film unaltered and lose all the money in the world. Instead, he posted a message on Twitter which basically said, "We hear you, we see you, and we're not going to give you something that you aren't going to love." The blue-haired people and film journalists promptly lost their but Fowler proceeded with his plan. He pushed the film's release date back by more than 3 months. He hired veteran Sonic artist Tyson Hesse to head up the redesign, and he sank an extra $5 million into the budget. At long last, November 12th, 2019 rolled around with a new trailer, and then this happened.
Oh! They did a good job! They did a good job! Oh, it's so cute! This is Sonic, guys! Look, he's got a glove! He has a glove! That's such a stupid thing to get excited about, but he has a glove, guys! Yeah!
Fan response was highly positive as word of mouth spread, and the blue-haired people went into blind panic mode. They furiously blamed Fowler for caving to toxic fandom and went to hilarious extremes to try to sabotage the film's success. The best example of this occurred during the film's opening week. The DC superhero movie Birds of Prey had been released the week before and was expected to be a massive box office hit. Unfortunately, it had been made exclusively by blue-haired people, so it was a feminist train wreck. As Sonic opened in theaters, Twitter was suddenly barraged by tens of thousands of hate messages from accounts that were either owned by angry, inarticulate, and very fat feminists, or just flat-out fake bots. These thousands of tweets were almost all identical, and they all accused the Sonic movie of featuring racist and homophobic slurs, and begging viewers to boycott it and take their kids to see Birds of Prey instead. This was a very odd tactic even for the blue-haired people, most notably because Birds of Prey was an R-rated movie, but then again, these are the people who are desperate to make Drag Queen Story Hour a thing, so I guess it's not that surprising. Despite these laughable efforts, Sonic the Hedgehog was a huge success, grossing $320 million and becoming the highest-grossing video game in the US box office. It probably would have earned considerably more than that, but it just happened to be one of the last movies released into theaters in 2020 before the whole world shut down as a result of something that I'm now allowed to say was not a bat. Just over 2 years later, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 did even better, bringing in over $400 million and breaking its predecessor's record as the highest-grossing video game in North America. I love just about everything about these movies, and that was a surprise even to me. After seeing the first trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog in 2019, I was convinced that Jim Carrey would be a disaster as Eggman, and I think I even posted about it online. Instead, it turned out to be Ben Affleck's Batman all over again.
Why did you say that name?
And I was very pleased to be proven wrong. Carrey is hands down the best part of the first film. I love his constant state of restrained rage simmering just below the surface whenever he's forced to deal with his fellow man, confident in the knowledge that his intellect puts him on a higher plane of existence than the rest of us.
I'm sure what you're here for is very serious, but it's got nothing to do with me. You can ask anyone in town. Everyone knows me.
I bet they do. I'm sure you're hella popular with the Jebs and Merles and Billy Bobs and this glorified gas station rest stop. Bet you go way back to the days of tipping cows and playing in a jug band. And maybe someday you'll achieve your goal of getting a Costco card or adopting a Labradoodle. But the reality is, I surpassed everything you're ever going to do before I was a toddler. I was spitting out formulas while you were still spitting up formula.
I was breastfed, actually.
Nice. Rub that in my orphan face.
Ben Schwartz gives a great performance as Sonic. The comic actor was almost 40 when he took on the role, but he ably played a young kid trying to overcompensate for his loneliness by living in a make-believe world wherein he has friends, family, teammates, and even a therapist. It's legitimately heartwarming to see him find new parents and even brothers over the course of the movies, which gives the series its heart. Another great example of fan service was the casting of voice actor Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails, who had previously voiced the character in various games and cartoons since 2014. After Tails' brief mid-credits cameo at the end of the first movie, the production team mentioned that a better-known actress would likely be recast for future films. However, fans of the franchise were thrilled when O'Shaughnessy was finally announced to be reprising the role in the sequel, and I was one of them.
I've got an idea. Do you trust me?
Of course not. I literally just met you.
Just let me...
What are you doing?
Come on.
Did your butt just turn into a helicopter?
A buttcopter. Oh, only Sonic the Hedgehog could come up with something like that.
She's the perfect voice for the adorable flying fox, and she absolutely holds her own against Ben Schwartz and Idris Elba in their scenes together. And if you didn't coo like a dove when Tails covers Sonic with his tails like a blanket, you have no soul.
Night, Tails.
To me, the true hero of casting in either movie is Idris Elba as Knuckles. A fan-favorite character had been a beloved addition to the Sega games since 1994, but fans have been disappointed with several of his animated appearances in the cartoons over the years, where he was downgraded from a proud but gullible warrior to a stereotypical dumb jock. Fan concerns about the character's portrayal in the movies were immediately put to rest as soon as he appeared in the first trailer for the sequel, wherein it was immediately made clear that the doofus was gone and the warrior was back.
Do I look like I need your power?
That has got to be in my all-time top 10 trailer moments. A lot of fans have wanted both Tails and Knuckles to be featured prominently in the first film, along with other characters such as Amy Rose and Shadow, but I think the filmmakers made a wise decision in centering the first movie on Sonic and Robotnik, before expanding the universe with other fan-favorite characters in the sequel. And Knuckles more than makes up for his delayed appearance with some of the best moments in the movie.
You think these machines are a match for me? I will shatter them like the bones from a fallen... Oh, they are stairs. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Ah, you crushed my favorite hand. Early, my hand is uninjured.
Yeah, there's more where that came from.
Tiny magic hedgehog destroyed.
You're really heavy.
That's because I am 1,000,000% muscle. Faster, Fox!
Could these movies be made today? Yeah. Thank God. People all over the world are getting sick of the blue-haired people's crap, and films like this are a celebration of that. I love the smell of popcorn in the morning. But here's some shrieking feminists, because you're probably expecting that in this segment by now.
That's a lot of nuts!
These movies are not masterpieces by any stretch of the imagination, and of course there's no guarantee that the series won't get tanked by a sequel that ends up being metaphorically blue-haired rather than just literally. But I sincerely believe that Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 have a good chance of becoming beloved classics, and it's not just because they made a lot of money and avoided political messaging. They just took us back to a time in family entertainment when having fun, generating laughs, and turning a profit was valued above stoking racial division and pushing Marxist satanic indoctrination. And that's all we're really interested in when we take our kids to the theater.
This country was built on slavery, which means slaves built this country. And we, the descendants of slaves in America, have earned reparations for their suffering.
And continue to earn reparations every moment we spend submerged in the systemic prejudice, racism, and white supremacy.
Wow, those characters were grossly entitled, blatantly racist, and highly unlikable. Here's a more likable assortment of nerds reacting to Knuckles' first appearance in the Sonic 2 trailer.
My boy!
Oh, Knuckles! Yo! You look so... Oh! Yo! Oh, is that Knuckles? Ah! Yes! Oh!
Do I look like I need your power?
Yeah! Folded!
Anyway, should Christ tarry, I'll see you in the next video. Jesus loves you. Vote Lane for King of Canada. Margot Robbie seriously needs to fire her agent before she ends up in another box office bomb because she's one of the few unapologetically hot actresses left in Hollywood, and therefore she must be protected at all costs. And let's make movies great again.
And lives in people's minds. Evil grows.
I just thought you might like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk.
What do I look like, an imbecile? Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them!
Put him on the endangered species list.
Come on, man.